Ladies, I'm about to tell you the red flag that you should be looking for on the first date when you're sitting across from this man. And they're not going to like this one, but that is what it is. When he is always agreeing with you, when he's so agreeable, when he comes across like he's got the goggles on, the googly goggles, everything he says, he's just trying to get on your good side. He doesn't want to cause any friction. By the way, I know you've probably been on all your dates are probably like that. No friction. Because that's what they typically do. Oh, less friction. I don't want to stir the pot with anything. That's a flag, ladies. See, you need to see these flags. Because he's not trying to stir the pot. He still wants you to feel good about him. And there's nothing wrong with that, setting a vibe, but setting a vibe where it's too much. He's agreeing too much. It's too, that's going to cause some issues down the road, ladies. You need to know he stands on some business. He has an opinion, and he's not afraid to tell you his opinion, regardless of how you feel about the opinion. Whether it's a belief, whether it's a fact, whatever it is, he needs to be able to stand on it and not care about how you feel about it. If he's not doing that, he might have the googly goggles on, which is like, okay, yep. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Oh my God, tell me more. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah. Him? Watch out for him. Watch out for him. He'll pull that rug later on once he gets what he wants. Oh, no, don't let me go there. See, the one that's willing to stand on it, in a nice way, as a gentleman, of course. But a stand-on business gentleman, one with some, yeah.
These are red flags in the talking stage. If you hate the dating world in 2023 and want to know how the hell you survive, then, I don't know, clicking follow might just help you through that. Let's set the scene. You're talking to someone and they sound perfect. And then you get onto the topic of exes and they tell you that all of their exes were crazy. Horrible people, super controlling, red flag. Be very wary when somebody only ever has negative things to say about someone and doesn't ever address their role to play in it. Just remember, you are only hearing one side of the story. And this story just so happens to be coming from somebody who is trying to look their best self in front of you. If you do end up having the ex talk, ask them this question instead. What would you say you've learned from past relationships? If they struggle to give you an answer, especially one that's somewhat positive, run as fast as you can, because this person has some emotional maturing to do. Okay, second of all, if somebody tells you something along the lines of, oh, you're too good for me, you deserve better, you're so out of my league, baby, believe them. As much as it kind of sounds like one, this is not a compliment. They are insecure about themselves. That is them telling you from the beginning that they won't be able to give you what you need and deserve. Let's say for whatever reason this relationship does progress and they change their mind. These still are the people that are most likely to cheat. And with somebody that has lower standards or needs than you. Because as long as they're with you, they're always going to feel like they're not enough and that they can't provide the things that you need. Whereas with the person who has lower standards, they're going to feel more confident, they're going to feel more secure because they can meet that person's needs. So if somebody says any of these things, out the door, on to the next. And number 3, if someone tells you that they're not looking for something serious, especially when this is a guy because they really just say it how it is, believe them and don't see it as a quest to try and change their mind or fix them. I'm not saying this happens all the time, but it is so rare for people who are not looking for anything serious to wind up in something serious. Even if you do, for whatever reason, convince them and they change their mind, your standards and expectations are always going to be higher because you knew what you wanted and they did not. So do yourself a favor and let them go.
If you are in the talking stage with a guy, here are 5 things that if they do these things, run the opposite direction. And some of these are very self-explanatory. Number 1, if he doesn't want to be seen in public with you, that is the biggest red flag ever. Like if you're inviting him out places and he's saying like, no, just come over to my place. Like just come over. That is the biggest red flag. He does not want to be seen with you and he's just using you. So leave him. 2, if he doesn't want people knowing that you're like seeing each other or that you hooked up or this or that, like if he's being secretive around you, like, and not telling his friends about you, that is a red flag. A lot of people have their reasons for not sharing things about relationships. I, for one, don't think you should share everything about a relationship. But also, when I like someone, like, it's something that I want to talk about with my close friends. Like, I want to talk about this guy that I'm seeing. 3, if he has a girl best friend, that's not a problem. Like, I have a lot of guy friends. Like, that is not a problem. But keep your goddamn eye out. 70% of the time, the girl best friends are, like, the nicest people ever. But that other 30% of the time, girl, they are preying on your downfall. One of my exes had a girl best friend who was so nice to my face, and turns out she was trying to get with my boyfriend the entire time we were together. So if your boyfriend knows that his girl best friend has a crush on him, be careful. If a guy that you're talking to is, like, not responding to your messages and, like, leaving you undelivered for, like, a day, the honest truth is that he probably doesn't want to talk to you. Like, my thing is, if I genuinely like someone and someone likes me, like, we usually talk pretty often. But the matter of fact is, you deserve someone who you feel like wants to talk to you and wants to spend time with you. So, I don't know, maybe that's kind of a red flag. If you guys have just been talking for, like, a very short period of time, if he's moving really, really fast and, like, wow, this guy really, really likes me, watch out, because you could very well be getting love bombed and you don't even know it, because it is the worst feeling ever. So if he's, like, a week in telling you that he loves you, babe, I'd be scared. And those are just a couple of red flags that I've dealt with and I don't like.
Here are 3 red flags to look out for in the very early stages of dating, first 1 or 2 dates. The first one, over-idealization. Listen, I know you're amazing, you know you're amazing, but if somebody's gonna come and tell you, oh my God, I've never met anyone like you, and you're the most incredible person I've ever met, I feel this crazy connection, how the fuck do you want them to know that about you? You barely know each other. You've had 1 or 2 dates. Oftentimes, it's the early signs of love bombing, which can be a manipulation tactic. So instead, just let them know, great, it's been fun to get to know you. I'm excited to see where things go, but hey, I move a little slower. I don't want to jump into things, so let's just get to know each other authentically and see where it goes. Remember, setting a boundary is super important. That way, if this person's going to continue to love bomb you and you say, I'm not interested, you know that you're making that decision from a place of power for something that doesn't work for you. 2, monopolizing your social time. Again, I get it. It's so exciting when you meet somebody that you really like and you're like, oh my God, I want to spend all my time with them. But again, you need to live your own fucking life. If somebody is trying to alienate you from your friends or is trying to get all their time with you, that can be an indication of possessiveness or a really unhealthy attachment. Again, you don't know this person. So no, as tempting as it might be, you had 1 great date to spend every single day with each other, that doesn't mean that it's going to lead to a relationship. On the contrary, you might just get really fucking hurt if you never hear from this person again, or they bounce off to somebody new. And the third one, selective listening. They remember specific things that you said about things that pertain to them, but when it comes to your boundaries and non-negotiables, all of a sudden they just seem to have forgotten. It's the same if somebody's never asking questions about you. Oftentimes it shows that they're self-centered and not really actually taking this more seriously. It's more about them than it is you.
If the guy you're talking to does any of these things, girl, run while you can. If he only talks to you through Snapchat, no thank you. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but I had to learn the hard way. If he only talks to you at night, no. Nope. If he is pretty off and on with you or gives you mixed signals, like one day he gives you a lot of attention, the next day he acts like you don't even exist, there's probably another girl. Last one is if he's very dry or gives you 1-word responses. You do not deserve that. Nope. So that's just some of the things that I've learned, but if he does any one of those things, girl, run.
All right, here are some red flags you want to look out for during the talking stage. Number 1, they're not moving things forward. They're quite happy messaging, but there's no intention to arrange real dates. Number 2, they're inconsistent. They can disappear for days without explanation, or their effort just isn't matching yours. And finally, number 3, they don't know what they want. If they tell you they're not looking for anything serious, don't try and change their mind, simply move on.
If you are talking to a guy right now, here are 5 red flags to potentially keep an eye out for. And yes, if you're wondering, I am speaking from experience. If his friends don't know about you and you're kind of a secret and he doesn't want people knowing that y'all are seeing each other, that is kind of a problem. Notice with guys, if they're talking to or seeing a girl that they think is so pretty or they really like, they are going to be talking about you nonstop. Like, they're gonna be trying to flex on their guy friends that they're with you. Obviously, some people want to keep relationships and dating and stuff more private, which I totally get, but if they don't even know that y'all are a thing or you're seeing each other, kind of a red flag. Isn't super responsive to you and texts you like every other day or just doesn't text you that much in general. If I'm being honest, And this sounds so horrible, but he probably just doesn't like you. Because most people want to talk to the people that they like. Very responsive to people that I like. Now, I've had people that I don't like as much, or maybe I'm talking to a guy and getting to know him and I just feel like we're not really clicking. And that's when I'm just not being that responsive to them because they're just not on my mind, or I feel like we're not really vibing. So I'm just like, I don't really want to text them. And I know that sucks to hear, but girl, trust me, I've gone through it too. Y'all are talking and it's early on and he's talking about y'all's future together. And what I mean by that is not like, oh, where do we see this going? Do we see this being more of a serious relationship? No, I mean when he's talking like, oh, we're gonna get married, we're gonna move in together, we're gonna move to this city together, X, Y, and Z, like literally planning out how many kids you want. Absolutely not. I feel like that's really just love bombing there. He's moving way too fast. Like, watch out for him. Every single time I've had a guy act like that, it has not worked out, and he was just trying to use me. They are moving way too fast. It's such a red flag. I had this one guy that I was seeing, and on the third date he was literally talking about posting me on his Instagram, and I was like, we are not a thing yet. What do you mean? I can't even tell you how many times I've had guys on the second or third date be like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to get us matching hoodies or matching whatever, matching something, like insinuating that we're gonna be like a couple, but saying that on the second date, like, The guy is making jokes at your expense. First of all, do not go along with it and laugh. Stand your ground and call him out for it. But he probably doesn't really respect you. Whatever he's saying as a joke, he probably believes to be true. Like most of the time when they're making jokes, they're telling the truth, but they frame it as a joke. So then when you get defensive about it, they kind of spin it back on you and they're like, oh, you're so sensitive. So they can't get like in trouble for saying something mean. That's just a couple of examples, but yeah, watch out for these men.
Ladies, here's a huge red flag in dating that you need to be so careful of. Men by nature are afraid of commitment. They don't want to commit. They don't want to be tied down. The idea of being suffocated by a woman scares the crap out of them. So if you've been dating a guy for 1 week, 2 weeks, you barely know the guy, and all of a sudden he's like, hey babe, I think we should get married and settle down, and yeah, you're everything to me. I've never felt this way in my life. Huge red flag. Why? I knew this girl, okay? She met this guy within 2 weeks. I love you. I've never felt this way. You're everything. I want to get married. He made this girl completely fall for him. A month later, he's like, oh, babe, I've got nowhere to live. I'm just like, I need somewhere to stay just for now, just till I'm in between jobs, da-da-da-da-da. The girl's already in love by this point. She thinks she's found the one. Poor girl lets the guy move in. Cut a long story short, she ends up finding out this guy already has a whole other girlfriend. He's cheating the whole time. And his girlfriend lived with her parents, so he couldn't move in with the girlfriend. All he needed was a place to stay. So if a guy very early on is telling you things like, I love you, I want to be with you, that is a huge red flag. It means he either wants to sleep with you, he's telling you everything you want to hear because he needs something from you. So ladies, don't believe him. Words don't mean a thing.
This is a rule that all women should follow in dating. Never entertain a man who brings up sexual references really early on, no matter how good he is on paper. And this is coming from someone who's interviewed hundreds of high-value men, a lot of who are in committed relationships. They all say that if they're trying to pursue a girl for a committed relationship, they will never bring up sexual comments early on because A, they don't want to scare the girl away by giving off the wrong impression that they're only looking for sex, and B, they actually respect women.
Yeah, I'm at 10 red flags when I start talking to a guy, or what I consider a red flag, or my biggest aches for guys. Number one, asking me to lend you money. Don't ask me to borrow you money. I don't care what you're going through in life. I don't care how life is treating you. Don't ask me to borrow you money. Immediately you ask me, I will block you. Because how would you just start talking to me and 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, you're telling me you have one job you want to do, you need money. Don't ask me for money. Number two, you have a bad credit score. If you have a bad credit score, you don't need a relationship. Go and fix your credit score. Yes, I said what I said. Go and fix your credit score. Don't come and ask me, oh, I have a bad credit score. Can you take out a contract from me? No! I said no! Number three, wanting to come to my house. Like, I did not invite you. You just sit on your own and say, when are you going to cook and invite me? As per your mom? Like, do I look like your mother? Do I look like your mom to you? Like, so of all the places, you just want to come to my house all the time. Are you alone? Okay, should I stop by? No, you cannot. No. Number four, Number 4, saying I'm a big girl. Like everything I do, you say, oh, you're a big girl, you have money. It's giving stinginess. It's giving, oh, you are going to be very stingy, because what's up? I'll just do a little thing for myself and you'll be like, oh, you have money. You're a big girl now. Number 5, doing the bare minimum, like literally. You know the guys that when they do the bare minimum for their exes and they're shouting, this is what I did for her, this is what I did for her. And I'm like, oh, so this is what you did and you are shouting. Number 7, is it 6 or 7? 50-50 kind of guys. I don't care what anybody wants to say. Oh, you're in the western part of the world, though. If I like, let me be in the eastern, the western, the north. I am not doing 50. I'm never doing 99.1 with a guy. I said what I said. I am not doing 99.9 with a guy. So, see that 50-50 kind of move. Number 8, you don't have a job. If you don't have a job, why do you want a relationship? Like, let me understand. You don't have a job, what? You go and get a job. The time you're looking to toast me, the time you're looking to ask me to go and use it and find a job. Like, do you see this thing I just said? They are like my biggest icks when it comes to talking to a guy, and I just noticed 1 or 2. Or number 9, I forgot. Having too many female friends. Like, you're always saying, oh, I have my girls around. Like, why are you having too many female friends? Why? Patricia, because you want to be a girl. Princess, because why are you having too many female friends? So these are my aches when it comes to talking to a guy, and I'm like, nah, this is a big red flag. Let me know yours in the comment section.
Here are 5 red flags that everybody is guilty of ignoring in the talking stage. And I'm sure we've all heard the saying, when you look at somebody through rose-colored glasses, all of their red flags just look like flags. Well, I'm here to rip those rose-colored glasses right off your face. The first red flag you need to look out for is if they badmouth all of their exes. And I don't mean they had one toxic ex and they talked to you about it. I mean if they keep badmouthing all of their exes. Blame shifting is an early sign of toxicity. Plus, if they're badmouthing their exes now, what would they say about you if something bad were to happen between you two? Number 2, they show emotional immaturity. If you're looking for an example of this, let's say you're at work and you're super busy. You get a call from them and you decide to decline it, telling yourself that you'll call them back once you're off shift. 2 minutes later, you get a massive text from them telling you how disrespectful it is to decline their call. That's emotional immaturity. Number 3, they jokingly put you down. If you're familiar with the phrase, babe, you need to learn how to take a joke, that's a red flag. An insult is never a joke, and putting someone down is never healthy. Number 4, they lack their own hobbies. If you're talking to someone and they seem to have all of the same hobbies as you, that may be less of a coincidence and more of an obsession. And I'm sure we've all heard of this one, but number 5 is love bombing. Don't get me wrong, being showered with gifts and compliments is always great, but if they're showing an excessive and overwhelming amount of love at the beginning, they maybe tried to blindside you by showing you a more than picture-perfect relationship, which just doesn't exist.
So here's 3 red flags to look out for in the talking stages of dating. And if you like what you hear today, make sure you give me a follow, and make sure you pop over to my private Facebook group, details up above, where I share loads more masterclasses to help with your dating and relationship dilemmas. So number 1, they're just not moving things forward. They're quite happy messaging, but there's no intention of a real date. Number 2, they're inconsistent. They can go missing for days without explanation, and their effort is not matching yours. And number 3, they say that they don't know what they want. If they say they're not looking for anything serious, don't try and change their mind. Just simply move on. Let go and leave space for the universe to send you a better match. Don't waste your energy on someone that isn't in alignment with you.
And if you're constantly talking bad about your ex, that's a red flag to me. If you don't take any sort of responsibility in any way for anything in your past relationship, that's a red flag to me.
5 red flags to look out for on a first date. If your gut instinct tells you something's off, it probably is, but here are a few specific things to look out for. I'm Kimberly, I'm a relationship coach. Give me a follow if you need help navigating your love life. 1, they're super rude to waiters and talk badly about other people, especially their ex. 2, they don't respect your boundaries and try to push you, whether it's drinking, staying out longer, inappropriate touching, or trying to get you to go home with them. 3, they're inconsistent. They'll show interest 1 minute and then they're distracted looking at their phone the next. 4, they're super affectionate and shower you with compliments without really knowing anything about you. And 5, they're really confrontational and challenge a lot of your thoughts and beliefs unnecessarily.
Men with no sexual discipline give me the absolute ick. If they're trying to kiss on the first date, or if they invite me back to their place The fact that you even felt comfortable enough doing that tells me way too much. Men who either complain about their ex or suggest that they're still really close friends with their ex, I'm like, already that's messy. If a man even hints at me paying for something, like if he's like, oh, let's make a bet, if I win, you have to pay for drinks. That's cute for girls who think it's cute, but the type of guy that I like would never do any of these things. So whenever I see someone do it, I'm like, we're probably not gonna see each other ever again.
And I can leave the party without ever letting you know.
Thought I'd give you a video of first date red flags. Honestly, nowadays I am only expecting princess treatment, so here are some first date red flags for you guys to know about. Number 1, not confirming the date the night before or of the morning of. If he's leaving you with no information until literally the evening of the date, bin him. It means he's not that interested in you, or he just doesn't have time for you. First date, he should be grinding to get on that date with you and confirm. Red flag. Flag number 2, if he doesn't pull out the chair for you to sit. I'm sorry, I'm really traditional. So if he doesn't pull out the chair for me to sit, it's a no. Flag number 3, if he opens the door and walks before you, like he doesn't open the door for you, it's a no. This is the bare minimum for me. Number 4, if he doesn't text you if you got home okay after the date. Like, what game are you trying to play? He hasn't texted me if I've gotten home okay, it's a no. Safety first, people. Especially if you're a gentleman, you will be texting that girl if she got home okay. Number 5, if they don't plan the date / if they wing the date, like winging it. Is that the amount of effort you're gonna show me? No. Next red flag, if you're on a date and he's rude to staff. At this point, I would be walking out the date. They're not getting paid enough to be taking your shit. I'm sorry, but it's true. Another big red flag, if they don't ask you any question, it means they're just not that interested in you. They don't care about who you are and what you're doing. If a guy's really interested in you, they're gonna wanna know all about you. So if they're not asking you questions, it's a no. The date is there so that you can get to know each other. And if he doesn't wanna know anything about you, say goodbye. Let me know if you want more first date red flags.
Things men will say to you that don't sound like red flags, but they actually are. When he says, I get bored easily, that translates to, I might get bored of you and I might have commitment issues, so I might just want something new and exciting. When he says he likes change, also known as I might change my girlfriend or I might change my mind. I've lived in so many different countries, I love moving around a lot. Also known as I don't really crave stability and I can't really be tied down.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but if the new person you're speaking to still speaks to their ex on a daily basis, they're still leaving that door open. So what does that actually mean? That means that if they're in constant communication with someone that they had a romantic relationship with, intimate, romantic, more than friends, that connection doesn't ever just sever. Now, that does not mean you're insecure if you're uncomfortable with the new person you're dating talking to their exes. They're an ex for a reason, and there's also a reason as to why they're still talking to them. They're tethered in the past. They have one foot out of that door, but that door is definitely not closed. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's a red flag if someone still talks to their exes, or do you think it's totally fine? Let me know in the comments.
If the guy you're talking to does any of these things, you better run the other way. If you look through his following and he follows more girls than you do, nope. If he only talks to you through Snapchat or like Instagram DM, nope. One is pretty self-explanatory, but I unfortunately had to learn the hard way. If he only talks to you at night, there's the door. Last one is if he's very dry to you or gives you one-word responses. No, thank you. So these are just some of the things that I've learned, but girl, if he does any of those things, you better get out of there.